So it's February 27th as we're recording this right now. We are rolling, guys. Welcome back to Sportsaholix, episode 2. I'm John Sheezer. I'm right in the middle of the country in Kansas City, Missouri. Willie?
I'm in Los Angeles, California, enjoying life. It was 84 degrees today. So how about that for February 27th?
And my apologies. Emmy award-winning Willie Hunter.
Okay. I didn't win an Emmy.
Damn it.
I did win an Emmy. I did win a Voice Award, which was a nice award. And I've been nominated for a WGA award, but I haven't won an Emmy. Now, I haven't even been nominated for an Emmy, unlike some people on this podcast.
Oh, I've been nominated. I've been nominated for an Emmy. I've been, and I've lost to John Oliver. I sure have. But I'm Peabody Award winning. When I found out from Saturday Night Live 50, Saturday Night Live has won 93 Emmys, 1 Grammy, 3 Peabody Awards, which means I have 1/3 of all the SNL Peabody Awards. So I got 1/3. So I got that going for me. Happy 50th anniversary, SNL. And by the way, I'm available for weddings and bar mitzvahs. I'll just let you guys know that.
Now, I very vividly remember the 40th anniversary, Eric. In your apartment, you had a box of colon blow.
Oh, I should have put that. I still have it. It's
and for anybody watching this, I guess probably under 40, this was Phil Hartman, who, if you don't know, is an amazing comedian, tragically was murdered by his crazy ass fucking wife. Please don't fall, Eric.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm like, it's gonna be like a Tom's.
People think this podcast isn't action packed. Look at an old man climb for
there it is.
There it is.
Oh, that's beautiful. This commercial is, just look it up. Go Phil Hartman colon blow. Just know that colon blowing you.
By the way, it has a recipe for colon blow snack treats on the back. Like, it has a whole,
I love it.
Like, they did it up.
Dude, that's.
In fact, I meant when I did the picture the other day, I forgot to include that. I forgot to include that. Oh, that needs to be cleaned.
Hey, it happens. So how long have you been in New York now, Eric? You're going on year 8 now? 7?
We're working on the 8th year. Yeah, 2017. I came in 2017. I was season 43 of Saturday Night Live, and now we're here. So I'm in New York City. Willie's in Los Angeles. You're in the heartland, Kansas City, the home of the 2-time but not recent Super Bowl champions. I mean, I guess you're 4-time Super Bowl champions, but you were okay, so the recently defeated Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
And but you also just got back from Austin, Texas.
Yes, where as a good football fan, look, and everyone knows how good it feels to be a champion. Every Eagles hat, jacket, shirt, whatever, I'd walk up and I was like, great Super Bowl. I'm a Chiefs fan. You guys beat the shit out of us. Okay. The game was over at halftime, but congratulations. You guys definitely deserve to be Super Bowl champions. And they were just like, oh, thank you. Excitement. I mean, and they won in 2017. So it's not like they'd had a huge,
right.
It wasn't a generational gap between championships. But I don't know if they were surprised or what, but they were all just like, yeah, oh, yeah, because I mean, basically, I'm just going on and be like, you guys, undoubtedly,
by the way,
are the best.
Carson Wentz was a backup QB in both Super Bowls. Tom Brady was in the building for both Super Bowls. Yeah. I just performed last weekend. I was down in Philadelphia, and I can tell you, I was down in Philadelphia. I had a great show. The crowd was great. I congratulated the crowd. They were very nice. It's very interesting. I'll tell you this. Christmas lights are still up. It's, as we do this, it's February 27th, 28th, as we record this. Christmas lights are all still up. I think maybe because there's a something going on where it was like, hey, they were in the playoffs and then they were in a run. So they just nobody wanted to touch anything. Like nobody wanted to jinx anything. And then they won. So they're just going to stay celebratory. Like I'm saying, Christmas lights in all the parks, like the Christmas trees are still lit. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing has been taken down in Philadelphia. Year-round Christmas, Billy.
I feel like there's a time, though, where you miss that time to take it down and you go like, well, you put it off to later. And the next thing you know, it's Christmas again. I'm saying this because I just took down my Christmas tree. I just took it down yesterday.
Much like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Hunter.
Philly's a very superstitious city, though. They had that pin statue thing where they were cursed because they had built a building higher than the Penn building downtown. And he's like, William Penn's on top of it, right? And so there was sometime in the early 80s, they built, during the like J.R. Ewing, Dallas era, everyone's booming, money's flying around, Philly's exploding all of a sudden. Everyone's got a Mike Schmidt bumper sticker on their car,
sure.
Got a Ron Jaworski jersey in the backseat.
Polish rifle.
Oh, are we going to see Julius Dr. J right now? Yes, we are. And I don't have any hockey references. I'm sorry, or I would have gone.
Eric Lindros, Legion of Doom.
No, it's too early, though. We're still in the early 80s.
That's true. I guess that's true.
So they built a building higher than William Penn. And so that cursed sports in Philadelphia, I think until the Phillies won in 2008, 2009. So it was like a nice 30-year, like, hey, you don't fuck with the Godfather type. And that was known. Everyone knew about that superstition. So the Christmas lights being left on, I mean, I could see that easily happening. It's like, hey, we're crushing people. We're rolling people right now. Saquon Barkley.
What part of Philly were you in, though? Was it like the affluent part or?
Oh, I was right by City Hall. I was at the Cambria Hotel. It was a lovely, by the way, the next show, I'm not there, but March 29th, great show, great people. I did with Christy Miller and Gerald Benford, great comic. And it was a great little show. Right. We were a block from City Hall. It was beautiful.
Okay.
We were right where Ben Franklin, like you could tell Ben Franklin had Etch-a-Sketch this.
Okay.
But Cheeser, let's actually go to another capital. You were just in the capital of Texas, Austin,
Texas. And I, as a sports fan, had the honor of meeting Vince Young randomly, and I completely dropped the ball on that one.
You fumbled it? You Rose Bowl champion Vince Young.
It was one of the more embarrassing because I kind of pride myself on just keeping it cool, and like we're around people a lot,
You've been around a lot of celebrities. The Clayton Kershaw, a lot of people come through the Comedy Store.
Tons of them, musicians. A lot of time you don't even know who they are. Then you find out you're like, oh, actually, yeah, man. I like whatever. But you're cool. You're cool. Undoubtedly, all the time. Vince Vaughn walks up right next to you at Craft Services while you're an extra on Sullivan and Son. Hey, how's it going? Not bad, not bad. Just keep it cool. Keep it cool. Don't say shit about swingers. Just fucking grab your turkey slices and make your sandwich and get the fuck out of there. You
don't have to tell him he's money. He knows he's so money. You don't have to tell him that. I've stood next to him at Saddle Ranch. It was a great experience. I didn't have to creep him out. But you, Vince Young, what happened? What happened, Shees?
First, I'll start with this. If you're ever in Austin, make your way down to the Betty Lounge. It's off of 6th Street, a couple blocks west of Congress. I don't know the streets that well. I just remember Congress is kind of the main one. But our good friend Toby James Simmons works at this bar, the Betty, which is
Good time Toby,
long time bartender, manager at the Comedy Store for a long time, great friend of all of ours, and our friend Red Band, Matt Edgar, Tony Hinchcliffe, and many others frequent that bar to relax, visit Toby, say, hey, what's going on, hang out. So I'm back there. This is last Saturday night, and I'm talking to a guy named Nick who he runs the Vulcan, and he owns a couple other bars around Austin. Really nice guy. And Vince Young walks in cowboy boots, all of 6'7", with a cowboy hat on. So you're looking at like close to 7 foot version of Vince Young. If you're going hat on, a giant. And so I go, oh shit, that's Vince Young. He goes, dude, I've known Vince for 20 years. And he goes, Vince, come here. It's my buddy John. He's a comic. Hey man, nice to meet you. Real cordial, real nice. And then, it's Vince Young, so his attention's getting pulled in every direction. Just hey, nice to meet you, whatever.
I mean, he's the UT, like he's the star quarterback from a legendary UT team, which is based in Austin. So if anything, you're in his home. This is his backyard, where he is one of the biggest local legends.
It's Steakhouse right down the street. I heard recently that he and Manziel were in a room, and he was like, "No, I'm the guy. You're good, but I'm the guy."
Oh yeah. Especially in Austin. Like, sure, yeah.
Sitting there talking with Toby. That Mexican OT comes in with his family and friends and father and his posse, and he's like a huge hip hop guy right now, and that was fucking awesome. They're all cool as shit. So I'm just like, this is, and then of course Red Band, Tony's there, Matt Edgar, Toby's running the bar like the king that he is, behind there, and then Tony walks up and I go, "Dude, did you see Vince Young?" And he smiles and he goes, "Vince, come here. Let me introduce you to my buddy John." And Vince walks back over and he's like, "Hey, nice to see you again." And so I'm like, I got 2 introductions within 5 minutes from Tony and Nick, who are like, they're around town. I'm like, okay, we're like friends now. I got vouched twice. So I go at that point, I go, "Oh man, big fan." Right when I got to Hollywood, I was staying at the Comedy Store, starting out there. But I remember the Rose Bowl night, the comeback, when you guys were down because there were Texas fans and we were all watching, and it was unbelievable how you ran. You guys were down by like 5 and there's like 20 seconds left on the clock, and you sweep to the right and you like just run in there, and like we all just went nuts, man. It was unbelievable. And then he just goes, "Thanks." It turns around and I'm like, fuck, why did I just like, of course he remembers that. Like, he was the guy that did the whole thing. This happens to him probably 5 times every fucking day. And it was like the worst celebrity experience I've had, maybe ever, where I left feeling like a dumbass, like a complete idiot. Oh. Especially considering I had 2 proper introductions. I should,
But what would you have said though? I mean, if you can relive that moment, what would you have said or done?
I'd have been like, "Oh yeah, man, hey, good to see you again."
Just keep it short and sweet.
No, I would have gone, "Dude, I love this fucking hat, man. Where'd you get that?" And then he would have been like, "Oh, so and so. Now we're talking about hats," and then like, we could just off somewhere else. Just anything but like, "Hey, that touchdown you did was really cool," and there was like 12 seconds on the clock when just. I could have just been like, "Man, it's cold outside, isn't it?" Just anything other than the Rose Bowl.
Than the play, yeah.
But you know what? But next time you're gonna go like, "Hey man, you're gonna go down there in like a couple months, and then somehow you're gonna run. Hey man, I'm sorry. Last time I was really embarrassing, but I want to know where you got that hat." You're gonna get another pat on the back and just okay. You know what I mean?
I've seen that guy. That's the guy that shows up at Pauly Shore's shows with the picture of them and Pauly Shore from the last time he was in town. And he's like, "Can you sign this too?" And I'm like, dude, how many times do you need him to sign this fucking picture? So you got to learn from other people's mistakes. My mistake, just keep it cool. Where'd you get that hat?
We all have had some of those moments. Right. Willie, you actually performed in front of a NFL quarterback who has a tie to Philadelphia. To bring it back to that, why don't you tell us when you performed in front of Donovan McNabb?
Well, I was going to tell Sheezer, at least you didn't perform in front of Vince Young, and then see him, and then you're like, okay, I don't want to. It was probably 2011. I'm a doorman at the Comedy Store.
You're early. You're what, 2-3 years in tops?
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years in.
Okay.
And everyone's running around saying, "Hey, Donovan McNabb," and Gary Payton's in the audience. And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I know my spot was coming up. He was there.
I was there. I was sitting in the bucket seats. I'm sitting in the Mitzi seats, and I can see McNabb and Payton are sitting dead middle, sort of back, like a row or 2 in front of me.
Right.
But they're just sitting right there. And Willie's waiting. And Willie loves Donovan McNabb.
Love Donovan McNabb. That's when I was a kid, I rooted for the Eagles because I'm a Players fan. Like I think that's my generation, millennials, or maybe that's what it is because players move around and you kind of follow them from colleges.
More now than they used to, but yeah.
Right.
It's also he's from Alabama and wasn't raised with a team.
That too. So, I mean, I love Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, but Donovan McNabb was like my QB, and I always wanted him to win. And so I hear Donovan McNabb is in the middle. I know I'm going up in like 3 or 4 more comics, so I'm like pacing myself because you're at the comedy store, drinks are flowing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna have a drink right now. I'm not gonna have my shift drink. I'm gonna wait afterwards. So I go up there and I'm nervous, and the first thing I said was, before I start, Donovan, fuck Rush Limbaugh. That's the first thing I said.
That is what he said.
Fuck Rush Limbaugh.
But
got no response from no one.
You know he's in the audience, 100%?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And for anyone who's watching who doesn't know, Rush Limbaugh was briefly one of the people on Monday Night Football who had said some stupid things about Donovan McNabb being a quarterback. So
specifically a black quarterback.
Specifically Donovan McNabb, a black quarterback, yes.
Yeah.
And that's where he was coming from.
So like you're a comedian, you think you got this hot moment or whatever, and it goes flat. You're like, oh God, I'm drowning right now. Don't move too fast. But so I started telling my little jokes, and they got up and walked out like a minute in my set. I walked them, both of them, and. Yep. The Comedy Store consumed me at that moment because you know how you are as a Comedy Store comic. You gotta lash back and be like, fuck you and all this. So that's what happened to me.
He means like the Shining Hotel possesses people. The building can sometimes take you over, and that's sort of what happened.
Yeah, but you can
Willie
look at
was
it like
a vessel.
Willie, you're one of a few people that shut down Gary Payton. How many people? Jordan, Willie Hunter, maybe Ron Harper before his knee.
The glove.
That's what I said when they walked out, and I saw them leave the room, and I said, you know what? Fuck them. I mean, specifically, fuck Gary Payton. I was never a Gary Payton fan. Michael Jordan all the way. The glove, my ass. I'm not shitting on Gary Payton. And I said, McNabb, I loved him though. He was my guy, and then I just walked him, and I'm an alcoholic. I was pacing myself, How can they do this to me? They just ruined my night. Now I'm definitely gonna drink, And then I get off stage, and Eric's in the back with our other friend Benji Aflalo, and they come up to me. He's like, "Dude, Donovan saw the whole thing." I go, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, he came back in and he saw the end of your set when you were shitting on them."
When he started yelling, all of a sudden they'd already gone through the curtains to leave into the lobby, and Willie's yelling at him, and all of a sudden it was like you see Donovan like. He comes back through the curtain, and he like shushes everybody, and then I still remember him leaning over that last booth and watching. So you pulled him in. You did perform for Donovan McNabb, and you were Willie Unleashed that night. It was a great set.
I bet he would remember that though. That is something I think you could, if you met him again, you could say, because you could date it. You ever remember hanging out with Gary Payton at the Comedy Store? And he'll be like, yeah.
Like, remember a comic yelled at you as you left? Yeah, I was that guy.
That was the guy.
and then you say, nice cowboy hat, Donovan. Yeah. Where'd you get that cowboy hat?
Where'd you get that cowboy hat, Donovan?
Where'd you get that hat?
That's why I was asking you, Sheez, is like, I wish I would just went up there like that. I've only been 3 years in comedy, so you don't know any better. You want to appease, and you get a little starstruck, and you want to be like, dude, you fan out a little bit, and I fanned out, and it bit me, except I was on stage.
Well, Eric, do you have what's your most embarrassing run in here before we go to break?
Well, okay. So on the sports tip, to keep it sports related, I remember, so Jay Davis used to run a great comedy room in the early 2000s on the top of Dublin's, which doesn't exist anymore, but like it was a place where Ralphie May and Dane Cook, like they crushed there, Alonzo Bowden. And I remember one night there was this big guy and he was sort of buying drinks, and it was Leon Lett, or at least I thought it was Leon Lett. And I don't even, to this day, I don't know if it was Leon Lett or no, but it was like he was buying drinks or whatever. And it was like, somebody's like, hey man, that's Leon Lett. And I had to be the guy that was just like, hey, are you Leon Lett? And that was like, it was like, hey, I was cool and we were cool. And it was just like that invisible curtain fell down behind his eyes. And I was out.
the same thing I just experienced with Vince. It's a weird,
yeah.
It's cold.
You at least got a pat on the back. But this was like, so this is the early 2000s, and Leon Lett also, I think he was still dealing with that Super Bowl incident where he almost had a touchdown in the Super Bowl, but at the last minute, Don Beebe came in. I'd say my biggest brain fry was actually it was the 40th anniversary of SNL. I went for the premiere of season 40, and I was with Leslie Jones, hanging out with her. And there's a certain point where I'm in her dressing room. I'm like following behind her, and there's 2 levels of dressing room. So I went down the stairs, and all of a sudden, I was like, Leslie's, 6 feet tall, and I'm just following behind her. And maybe we've had some marijuana, and we go down these stairs, and all of a sudden she's talking to someone that I can't see, and she's like, "Hey, this is my writer Erik. He helped me with whatever bit that I helped with that week or whatever." And so all of a sudden Leslie steps out of the way, and I see who she's talking to, and it's Tina Fey. And just in the world of interesting hats, now Tina wasn't on the show. This is season 40. She was just happened to be backstage, but she's wearing this crazy, I can only call it like a Carmen Sandiego fedora. Like, it was a very large, very if she was going to be playing Carmen Sandiego on the show, this is what she would have had on her head. And all of a sudden there's Tina Fey, and Tina Fey puts out her hand and she congratulates me, or says nice job, good work, some version of that, complimenting me on what I did. And at that moment, my brain blew a fuse, and I'm now shaking her hand, looking at her, and I just go, "Congratulations."
No. Oh man. Yeah, there's just sometimes I remember
and then she patted me on the shoulder and walked away.
That's good. Okay. Another John Amos. One time I was working the back door.
The late great John Amos.
It's something like we had accommodated him in some way, maybe in the lot or something. And so he comes up and he goes, "I'm John Amos. Nice to meet you." And I go, "Hi, I'm John Sheezer." And he goes, "Josh, nice to meet you." And I'm like, "Yep, my name's Josh. From here on, I'm not gonna be like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Amos, it's John. Actually, we have the same first name. I just, for some reason, said my last name, which then sounds like Josh. And then I'm just stuck there getting a pat on the back. But nope, just played it cool. Nice to meet you, Mr. Amos. And then I remember one night, Cedric Sabalos. Do you guys remember the Cedric Sabalos story?
No, please tell us. And I know everyone watching doesn't remember it because they never heard it.
This was a bit long enough back where I think Evan Kelly was manager, and this was a guy who moved to the Carolinas. I think he's a news reporter now or anchor somewhere.
Right.
Really good guy. So I'm thinking this was 07, 08, maybe anywhere, late odds. Tripping on Tuesday, and then he had parked his motorcycle right in front of the back green room, main room doors, the double wides, swing open, the ATM's right there. How you change, the big ladder comes out to change the marquee, all that stuff.
Right.
So whoever went to change the sign hits his bike, knocks it over. And he's not happy because his bike's knocked over. I think might have been Dean, whoever it was like, "Bro, let me just say it's Dean because I can do his voice better. Bro, you can't park your bike here. It's a fire lane. Sorry, but you can't park here." And so 20 minutes go by, changing the sign, whatever. He's they come back, they find him pissing all over the carpet, back by the exit door. And they're like, "What are you doing?"
Cedric Sabalos?
Basically in retaliation for getting his motorcycle knocked over, I'm going to fucking piss all over the carpet. I mean, I know a lot of people that have pissed on that carpet, so I don't get it clean, but it seems I've heard many stories that end up with urinating.
It never ends up well for the people who piss on the carpet at the Comedy Store.
Never.
It's bad mojo. Don't piss on the Comedy Store.
Yeah, exactly. It never works. Actually, very true. One person I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Rest in peace. All right, so you know what? Let's here's something that before we go to take our first break here. This is the fortune cookie of the episode. I want to do the fortune cookies. Eric, you've been a fortune cookie eater almost daily for very long.
I do my morning fortune cookie. Hashtag my morning fortune cookie. I do one every day. That is correct.
So I got one this week that I liked. I wrote down is your perseverance will be a key to achieving your goals.
Nice.
And that really came the next day. This guy was arguing about Sisyphus, and I'm like, yeah, but the ball rolls down, but now you're stronger. You know the better route to take. I was just kind of like trying to push back on like life. Nothing in life is easy, so expect objects and obstacles at every corner. And so that was my very next day, my fortune. So I wrote it down, but that'll be on you, I think, Eric. If you want to pick.
I'm just saying that perseverance comes to talking, and Sisyphus brings it back to Vince Young. That, you meet Vince Young and he walks away, and you meet Vince Young and he pats you on the shoulder, and perseverance, Caesar, you keep meeting him. You keep going down Austin. You keep meeting that Vince Young. You're going to go, and one day you're going to win him over.
Yeah,
and you're going to find out where he got that cowboy hat.
Amen. Amen. All right. We'll be right back. Guys, that is going to conclude episode 2 of the rebrand of Sportsaholix, the relaunch of, what do you got?
I'm telling you, here's our fortune cookie. Very often, you cannot help thinking of somebody. And today, that was Vince Young.
Vince Young.
You can't help thinking of you. And Tina Fey. This episode was brought to you by Poland Blow.
March 29th, Eric Marino at Cambria Hall in Philadelphia. March 29th, I'm going to be with Uncle Laser in Kansas City, Omaha, and Des Moines. March 5th, 6th, and 7th. Back in Austin in May. Date to be determined. Willie, any upcoming shows to?
I have a show on March 9th. You can go to my Instagram, Willie_Hunter, and you can get more details.
Perfect. All right. Until next time, stay up.